Alright. Hello there, chat. I need to turn on the light. See something. See my face a little better. Not that you need to see my face any better. Sorry about that. Again, pretty close to the camera. Right. So. Back at it again. Yeah, missed yesterday's stream. Because yesterday, fix that ever so slightly. Sorry about the noises from outside. It's, kids in the playground. Once again, making noises. But I gotta keep the window open because it's so freaking hot out here, hot in here. Yeah, so yesterday I was at the studio recording some vocals for the band, so that's why I wasn't available to stream. Tuesday I had to take a little just breather, and Monday band practice, I believe, if I remember correctly. But today's agenda is finally fretting these 4 necks that I have, and yeah, should be fun. Okay, it is quite windy. Hopefully I don't die here. I could always put the fan on. Yeah. So I'm just gonna show you real quick that in preparation to get the necks glued on and whatnot, I have a couple of stain tops, which would have been really hard to do with the neck on them. So I pre-stained the Icarus with the Carillion Birch top. Looks like here. And I put one small layer of oil on there. The blue pigment of the stain didn't want to cooperate, so I need to go back and reapply the burst after I've glued the neck in. But for now, it is fine. I also went ahead and stained Matt Heafy's guitar, which looks like this. This is one of my favorite colors that I do. I call it Bittersweet Burgundy, and yeah, I really like the color, personally. All the guitars have so far, I think they've been sanded to 240 in preparation for getting the necks in, and just in general, final neck joints, final heel carves, stuff like that. So, one thing I want to check already at this point, yes, I am on the right Wi-Fi network. That would be the first time that I've been a little on network. Oh, Jesus. I would have fret the necks on Tuesday, but my fretwire hadn't arrived. I have the old fretwire that I bought previously was the wrong size, so now I have some jumbo fretwire that I can use for something. I much prefer to have a little bit less wide stuff for these guitars. So, one of the first things that we need to do is finish sanding up the fretwire. So going from 240, 320, and finally, I don't know, polishing them up a little bit more than that. I'm gonna get to that. Let's bring this up actually. Important part before I start doing any kind of sanding is making sure the neck is straight. It does indeed look that way. And do check the rest as well. Okay. That needs a little bit of adjustment, I think. Does it? Might be fine. It might be fine. Yeah, I think we're good. Go ahead and plug my stream for some other luthiers. Yeah. I gotta put the fan on. It's too hot in here to be doing anything of proper use. Oh. Yeah, I'm just trying to get myself sort of in the right mindset to do this. It's been a really long day. I need to put that on silent. Now, basically at this point, I'm just getting the final sanding done on the necks. I don't really need to do too much because they have been 240'd already once. Then I've wet the grain. Now I'm just coming back to get the final finish on them. Already starting to look much better. So 16-inch radius block. And, big bottom mat. Hey, Daniel, this is the just emerges from the woods after watching Iron Man playing 64. Black coat emerges from our brothel basement. Kidding, of course. Let me just decipher what you said. Hold on. Damio, is this how the NSBM what's NSBM? Bands of Finland get their guitars. Werewolf just emerges from the woods after watching Iron Man playing 64. Finnish black metal bands, right? Satanic Warmaster and Goatman. Okay. I wouldn't have known. I don't really follow sorry. I don't follow the black metal scene that much, so I don't really know. But hey, welcome. I have actually had talks with a Swedish guy from a black metal band talking about getting a guitar for him. So we'll see if that happens. I might want to change the paper on that. Thank you, and I definitely will keep working that crap. Hoping to do this more and more and more. Alright, I need new paper. don't know what my brain's like completely off today. But I guess it's just one of those things. We're in a pretty long day. I had to have, the reason that things kind of got delayed and I started a bit late was because I really had to drink coffee just to stay awake. Not the wisest move because I haven't been sleeping well lately, and you know, that's not really going to help matters. But, you know, gotta do what you gotta do. But yeah, Big Buddy Matt, now that you've joined, I'm going to show you these two that I showed at the beginning of the stream. There's this one, which is coming along pretty nicely. Then there's the one for Matt Heathy of Trivium. This one's going out to him. And these are the necks for them. And then there's two other ones here as well that are now in the way. So essentially, when it comes down to these four guitars that I'm currently working on, I'm hoping to have them finished like actually in a couple of weeks. Because I want to be able to send Matt's guitar out to him before Trivium head out on tour. So we'll see how that goes. And yeah, essentially I have well, next week, yeah. So I still have next week of work, and then the entire month of August I'm off. And that's kind of the secondary reason why I want to finish things up in the next couple of weeks, because I want to have, I don't want to have to work on, well, I don't want to have to work on holiday. Because last year I did, and I was stressed out for the majority of it. If you remember, they were some of the first streams that I did when I was working on Johnny's bass, and I was doing the LED inlays, and that was just so stressful, so I'm trying not to do that again this year. And if things start going well with what I do, and I can start kind of doing this as a living instead of having to go do a day job, then even more so I want to take all the vacation time that I can get now at this point, because I don't know when such a possibility will be even an option at that point. Yeah. We'll see. All good fun though. Okay. That should be better. Don't want to sand too much, because it is already at the right radius, so I don't really need to sand the radius to it. I just need to get rid of scratches and raised grain, which it doesn't even have anymore. Right. One neck down. Next up. Great. That's two 240'd. Actually, it might have to adjust a little more. Two down, two more to go. And I already checked that the necks are actually straight. Which would have caused some issues at this point if I hadn't. So yeah, just doing the final sanding in preparation for threading these. So what I will probably do is sand these up to a pretty high grit and then apply some fretboard oil just to kind of, I don't really know, I don't really need to do that because I don't think I'm going to be, I'm not going to glue in the frets, so I don't really need to do that part. I glued in the frets on the Celeste because that was a Cerulean birch fretboard, so I was a bit more wary of perhaps needing that extra strength. In it. Awesome. Then we're going to move ahead to doing the higher grids. And for that, I'm going to first off get the camera rolling. Okay, so now all the fretboards are sanded to 240, and I'm going to do the final bit now by hand, very carefully so I don't change the shape. I have to keep on constantly checking that I don't do that, but essentially fold up my paper. And ever so slightly, and very lightly. All I'm basically doing is just removing scratches left over from the 240 grit. And back. Yeah. Essentially what I'm doing here now when I'm moving up to the higher grits is just polishing the fretboard, more or less. Oh, seems like we have frozen. And then I think my laptop just froze. Always checking that I don't change the radius. Right. And for Matt's guitar. always good to check up against natural light as well. Get a better understanding of if there's spots you missed. Let's have some higher grit paper here. Think. $600 will do just fine. Just fine still. Overkill. We want to have these fretboards looking real nice. $800. I think that's probably good enough, really. Clean out those fret slots, but I might actually just do that with Hey man! Just a sec. Gonna finish doing this. So, armor. Hi. We are finishing up the fretboards before putting in the frets. So they've already been sanded to the right radiuses. Now I'm just kind of getting them to, well, 800. So as you can see, starting to look pretty. I don't know if you can actually see that. Yeah, there. Fairly shiny. That's one done. This one. So, have it at 320. I'm doing some 600. So fret slots, cool. Yeah, that is Matt's neck. So there's the neck. Sorry, there. And here is the body. I already did the stain just in preparation for gluing on the neck, and I put one very thin layer of oil on top just so that the glue won't really stick to it. Just to cover my bases, so to speak. But, so 600 grit. Really starting to polish up the fretboard now. Completely overkill, but makes the fretboard look really, really nice. And because it's such a high grit, not really removing enough material for me to be concerned about not using a radius block for this part. Then 800 grit, which is even more of an overkill, just to really get that final finish on there. I could go further and higher up in grits, but I think 800 is probably it. I mean, it is good enough. To say the very least. Still gonna be applying oil on top of this anyway, so. There. And just to humor myself, I'm gonna check again. Make sure that I'm not changing anything. Nope. This one is a bit trickier because it has a sort of a compound radius to it. So, 600. And after I have done this part, we're good to start fretting. And that's going to be pretty noisy because I'm going to hammer in the frets. So I apologize for that already. There. 800. Looks pretty good. So for instance, comparing, that's been 800'd and this is still at 320. There is quite a big difference. Need to use a small saw to get rid of some glue still in a couple of the frets. If you don't work on the first art, I'll send a picture on it. I am looking forward to seeing that. Aw, dude. That looks awesome. That looks real cool. Now, once again, I've said, people who are watching either the stream or the VOD later on, I have said that you should go check out IMR stuff before, but now I'm saying it again. Go and check out IMR Guitars. He makes really wonderful stuff. And sorry that it's taken me forever to actually send the veneers to you, but let me tell you, it's been nuts. I will try my very best to get those out to you as soon as possible. But I really need to focus on getting these guitars done first. I know you can understand that. Get rid of some of the glue and some of these frets, or fret slots I should say. Okay. There. That neck is clean. That neck is clean. This one needs a little bit of work. It's funny, this is a saw that I've had forever. I had no use for it up until the point where I made it function as a tool for this job in particular. Yeah, so this is a really cheap Japanese saw knockoff. It was a full size, it was about that long. And I never used it because it was, well, whenever I used it, it wasn't exactly that great. But I needed a new, or I needed a saw to kind of get into the fret slots after I put the binding on. And this works wonderfully for that. So all I've done is just modified it. So basically cut off both ends of it to make sure that it sits in the fret slot nicely. Essentially, it's along the same principle as this fret slot cleaning tool. Oh, here. It's also made from an old saw. Or some spring steel, I think. Yeah, actually it's some spring steel. But yeah. Just helps me clean things out before I start putting the frets in. The funny thing is that now, because I've been taking a break from editing videos just to get these guitars done, the funny thing is, because I haven't stopped filming and I just need to keep on dumping it onto my computer, I have run out of hard drive space because I still have unedited videos there, but I need to dump more footage in there. So I need to edit a couple of videos out of the way to make room for all this material that I'm filming currently. First things first. I'm hoping that on the weekend I'll be able to go to the workshop and basically finish the heel joints and sanding, then come back home to start doing all the finishing. So the rest of the staining, I need to take one of the guitars back to the workshop because it is getting some spray finish on it. In order for me to actually get it done in time for demoing and doing my tone wood test and everything, I'm not going to fully finish it, and that's the Resin River Fatalist. So this one, I won't be able to fully finish it because I just don't have time to do that. I'm going to put the 1 session's worth of lacquer on here, work with that, put it all together, then after I've done all the demos and everything else, I'm going to go back and finish doing the finish, because then there's no deadline for it anymore. For this purpose, I will need to just get it to a functional point. And then I can make it look prettier after that. But it's the only one, because the rest of them are oil finishes, so those are fairly easy. I can just spend most of next week just oiling them if all things go well. Oh yeah, and in other cool news, I figured out how to do the headstock logos. So I got some acid, and I'm gonna acid etch logos onto the headstocks. I don't know if you can make that out. No, not really.
Coming in a bit closer.
So yeah, gonna use some aluminum and then etch the logo, the shield on there. This was just a quick test, just to see that it actually works and functions. But now that the proof of concept works, I feel a lot better about it, and it's gonna be a lot of fun to do. And it takes like no time at all. Of course, the preparation for things takes a while because I need to cut out the designs, but small price to pay for such a simple process that will look great. Yeah. Okay, almost there. Speaking of another process that does fretwork, fretwork is the key to most processes and getting them done correctly. Now, this is the first time that I haven't really opened up the fret slots because I can't really do that with the binding. So I need to see if I'll be able to do that. It's not a necessary step, it just makes things a little bit easier. Let's see if I can get that. Now, the way that I usually do that is by essentially using a triangular file and just scoring or going over the fret slot a couple of times. That just kind of helps the fret go into place. I'm pretty sure I can get it done here. Didn't have any issues with the Celeste when I did that. That had binding. managing to break off the glue. And it's in such a it's in such a small space that it hasn't really, you know, seeped into the wood or anything like that. It's fairly easy to remove. Just kind of chips away. And I'm keeping as many points of contact on my tool as possible so that it doesn't slip. A little more, and then we're done with this neck. There. These last ones over here as well. They're not as great as they could be. There. Right, one more, and then we get to fretting. I've already done this earlier, I believe, so there shouldn't be that much, just a couple. There's a spot there. There. All right. We're good to start hammering in frets. So the loud business. Move things around a bit. Alright, time has come to start fretting the guitar. Now, what I'm going to do, because it has binding, is nip off a portion of the end here. That will sit on top of the binding. And then I need to get my tool that I used with the Celeste build as well, which is not here. Hold on. Give me a sec. Let me go find that. It's this one. Yep. File. Unfortunately, the file I used last time is on loan, but this will do just fine. Take a little bit more off, taking a little bit at a time. It will also prevent the fret itself from bending a little bit more. I'll show the camera real quick what I'm doing. So, due to the tang of the fret, which is here in the lower part, I will not be able to put it on top of the binding, of course. So I have to do away with nipping it there and then filing it down so that there's no excess material there. That's what I'm doing right now. Then to cut the length that I need, just fine. Great. Let's get that hammered in place. Okay, so sorry, now I'm going to cause some noise, but really no other way of doing this. So, line it up where it's going to go. Come on. There. Gonna tap in the ends and then hammer it out from the middle toward the edges. This means that the tanks go in and to the side so they won't pop out that easily. So. A little persistent. I am going to see if I could open those slots up ever so slightly, because that was, it shouldn't be that difficult to do. So before I go depth, I'm gonna open these slots up ever so slightly. This should allow for the fret to go in a little smoother, hopefully. Just wondering whether that actually has seated properly or not. Usually you can actually hear it pretty well. Sorry for the loud noises. I know it's not cool. I'll turn down my mic volume ever so slightly. There. Maybe even a little bit more so you guys don't die from the noise. Yes, it is a very tedious process. It's but the first neck of 4 that I need to do. Now to see if that made a difference. Ends first in place, and then from the middle out. seem to go in a lot smoother. Alright, awesome. Right. We'll open up the slots ever so slightly. Everything first. Just a couple of swipes. Could be more than enough. Snip off the ends full. As I go. Be weary of fret ends in the workshop. It really can be your worst nightmare. Right, sorry, got distracted for discussion. Trying to organize any type of tour or live shows in general at a time where things are not only unstable but everything has started opening up, which means that every single band that is currently active is looking for a place to play. And during, or within the last year, so many music venues have shut down their operations due to COVID. Government not really giving enough support for such places, which is a really big shame. Actually, another file is better for the job. Not that one. This one. This one. Okay. I understand that this is probably not the most glamorous or interesting or even mildly entertaining thing to be watching, but thank anyone who is. Speaking of people who watch videos, I am blown away by the fact that I have now hit 200 subs on YouTube in a very short period of time. It was only last October that we celebrated 1K. Now we're already past 2K. That's mind-boggling to me. Okay. Next one to go in. Oops. Come on. checking which way will waste the least amount of material. So I might have to jump now to the front and neck. Or I should say the lower half of the neck. That needs to be. Yep. Off. Oh, there's no music playing. Is there? I think I'm going to do a couple of more frets, then I might actually end the stream there. Fairly monotonous stuff. Keep watching. Just a hair more. This neck in particular also has fairly thick binding or wide binding on it, so is especially troublesome from flipping away so much of the tag. to it. See you guys next week.